question likely violated the First Amendment by policing social media. And he's now restricting some officials from communicating with many of big tech's most popular platforms. The bombshell ruling comes after attorneys general from Louisiana and Missouri sued the Biden administration for allegedly suppressing political speech online. It was most frequent during the height of the pandemic. And some of the most scrubbed topics include COVID health policy, COVID origins, and Hunter Biden's laptop. District Judge Terry Doughty wrote in his scathing opinion, quote, "If the allegations made by plaintiffs are true, the present case arguably involves the most massive attack against free speech in the United States history. During the COVID-19 pandemic, a period perhaps best characterized by widespread doubt and uncertainty, the United States government seems to have assumed a role similar to an Orwellian Ministry of Truth." Now, the Biden administration is expected to appeal that preliminary injunction, but former National Intelligence Director John. These are from Biden officials. Two social media companies cannot stress the degree to which this needs to be resolved immediately. Please remove this account immediately. Hey, folks, wanted to flag the below tweet, and I'm wondering if we can get moving on the process and have it removed ASAP. You are hiding the ball. I've been asking you guys pretty directly for a clear accounting. It's as if social media was a fourth branch of government.
Talk about bullying.
Yes.
Those are the
So this past week has been a good week for conservatives and people on the right. We had that big ruling that just came through from the Supreme Court, saying the government cannot restrict our First Amendment rights. They cannot contact social media networks. They can't tell them to censor, what not to censor, what to censor. So that is a big win. And obviously the Biden administration plans to appeal it, but I don't think their appeal will do them any good. I think that obviously it violates the First Amendment, and they don't have a ground to stand on. So we'll just go through some of this. The Biden administration revealed on Wednesday plans to appeal a judge's order blocking several government agencies and officials from contacting social media companies. Lawyers with the Department of Justice filed a notice of appeal in the United States District Court for the Western District of Louisiana, setting up a clash over U.S. District Judge Terry Doughty's judgment on July 4th. Let's see. Although there has not been a final ruling in the case, the judge's order restricts a number of officials and agencies from meeting or communicating with social media companies for the purpose of urging, encouraging, pressuring, or inducing in any manner the removal, deletion, suppression, or reduction of content containing protected free speech. That's awesome. Obviously, the Biden administration wants to limit our free speech because he doesn't want us talking about the Hunter Biden laptop. He doesn't want us speculating on whose cocaine it was in the White House. He doesn't want us talking about COVID. No, none of that. The war in Ukraine. He doesn't want people talking about none of that. So yeah, we'll see what happens with that. I think we know it's not going to go in their favor. And the other Supreme Court ruling is the Supreme Court sides with Christian graphic designer, says state can't force her to violate her religious beliefs. In a landmark victory for free speech, the Supreme Court on Friday struck down a Colorado law that would have punished a Christian graphic designer who declined to design a website for a same-sex wedding that violated her religious beliefs. In a 6-3 decision in the case of 303 Creative LLC versus Alanis, the High Court cited the First Amendment in ruling that Lori Smith could not be forced by state civil rights law to design websites that run counter to her sincerely held religious beliefs. Justice Neil Gorsuch wrote for the majority, which included Chief Justice John Roberts and Justices Clarence Thomas, Samuel Alito, Brett Kavanaugh, and Amy Coney Barrett, saying no public accommodations law is immune from the demands of the Constitution. So yeah, there's more to this article on the Daily Wire if you want to go read through it. But that's another awesome win for the right. There's no reason to force a business to participate in something like that if they don't want to. If the business wants to participate in something like a gay wedding or whatever, then fine. That's ultimately up to the company. And if the public thinks that company is doing something wrong, then the company probably won't last in the market anyway. I love the decisions. The third decision was striking down affirmative action, which is awesome. I mean, that's a blatantly racist law that's been around for a while. There's no reason for it. We shouldn't be basing who gets into what college based on their race. It should be based clearly and solely on their academic achievements, their test scores, things of that nature. It's racist. The left is racist. They're pretty much saying that a minority is not good enough or smart enough to make it into one of these schools, which just is not true. And affirmative action ends up, affecting other races and minorities as well, mainly Asians. So it's a law that needed to go. Glad to see it went. Schools are already trying to make workarounds to get around it, but hopefully the Supreme Court will hold their decision and make sure no one works around it. Other people are arguing, well, there's legacy admissions, stuff like that. I don't think the two are really the same. If you want to argue for no legacy admissions too, that's a whole different argument. I'm not necessarily against it. I think it's a completely different thing than allowing someone in purely based on their race, and not only that, but allowing them to test 200 points under another candidate, but because of the racial difference, you're going to take in the lower score. It doesn't make sense.